Hello, guys and girls. I hope the day is finding you well. So, question was thrown on one of my older videos from, I don't know, 2017, maybe even 2016 the other day about Sample Magic Boost and why there's no information on the Pro version. So, here we are throwing it out there. Now, I was going to compare it to Ozone 8 as was requested. However, the price difference, Boost Pro is 99, while Ozone 8 is like 230. Didn't seem like a fair comparison. So instead, I've got Lurssen Mastering Console up here. They're a much similar price point, and they're also similar-ish in feature comparison, although you're going to see one kind of dominates over the other in terms of features and tweakability fairly shortly. We're going to get rid of Lurssen for the minute and just have a Boost up on here and just go over the differences. Super quick, if you don't know what Boost Pro is, there is a plugin from Sample Magic called Boost, which looks just like what's on the screen now. The Pro version basically opens up what these 5 knobs do and allows you to tweak the parameters inside them to your taste. Idea being, this plugin sits on your master bus or a 2 bus or even a mix bus of some description, whether it's like a summing bus for your drums, and just lets you get the most prominent features and sounds as quick as possible just by tweaking them out. It's a pretty standard like one knob system controlling multiple parameters. The Pro version allows for some tweakability, and we can drop the little advanced menu down here and we've got the inner workings of each one. To a degree, we can tweak them quite nicely, which is dead useful. So just going to go through real quickly what we've got cracking. So the track I've got here is just a track that's like a work in progress, working on it with a friend. Just going to play a couple of bars of it so you can hear what's going on and get an idea for the track before we start messing about with stuff. So just have a quick listen. Cool beans, you get the idea of what's going on there, and we're going to look at what we can do. So knobs, I'm sure you can read them. Dirt, color, compress, stereo, and limiter. Should have an idea of what each one does. More importantly, in the advanced version, we've got these very sort of narrow little downward lines coming down, and you can see each module's bracketed out for what's going on. So Dirt, for example, has got this little section here. Colors then got this little section here, and we can grab different parts of it. Notice quite a few of them are multi-band and split up into different parameters, different parts of the frequency spectrum, which is nice and useful. Similar to what you can do in Ozone, but just not as beautifully laid out and not as intricate in the way you can't flip modules around and things like that. Contrary to what you might think with the Dirt and color. Now, color is quite often associated with harmonics and distortion. In this case, it is EQ, and it is sort of the tonal thing going on with the EQ. If you've ever seen my video on, say, tonal balance or using a frequency analyzer, it's going to be the sort of profile that it applies. This applies as well with Lurssen in terms of the preset or style you choose. It applies an EQ profile based on that, which is then slightly adjustable with the 5 knobs at the bottom here. Similar premise here. So Dirt is actually your application of distortion, while color is your application of how much the EQ profile is affected. Compression changes the more we bring this guy up. Stereo is if you watch my original video on Boost, the stereo knob was the thing that impressed me the most because it kept a lot of the mono compatibility while widening the sound and giving it some nice effects to be able to go in a little bit deeper and adjust the width and the 4-band frequencies here. Really useful as well. And lastly, a limiter does what a limiter does best and limits things. Now we can swap out the mode. We've got the knee and some other things we can look at inside it if we really needed to do it. Just gives us an extra bit of flexibility within the plugin. So I'm going to cheat. I'm just going to use a preset rather than building the track together. And I'm going to try and take something similar to what I'd expect to get from Lurssen as well. So let's go electronic and just take Valve Warm. Absolutely hammered the sounds in terms of compression. So we're going to leave it off here and I'm going to enable it, and we're going to hear what this preset has done and what it's really doing to it. We'll also bring the color and dirt knobs into play as well, just to get an idea of the game they are playing. So let's just, I'm going to hit this, let 4 bars run, and then I'm going to start it again so we can hear the same 4 bars over with it engaged.
And you just take my world away and leave me with nothing but. And you just take my world away and leave me with nothing but a sorry look on my face. And I try to fight for the time ahead.
The one thing I quite like about this, you can absolutely drive all these, hammer it, and then instead of dialing them back, we can use the mix blend here and have like an NY or parallel compression style system going on. So for example, the compressor, while absolutely slammed, is dialed right back and is only in by a small amount. If we bring it right in,
And you just take my world away.
yeah, that's absolutely awful. However, if we dial it right back here, sort of to where it was, it's an acceptable amount.
And you just take my world away and leave me with nothing but a sorry look on my face. And I try to fight time.
So another nice thing as well is we can change the mode of each channel here. So across the top, we've got ST, for example, or MS here. We can swap them between mid-side and stereo mode. It's independently for each chain, which is a useful thing here. Obviously it doesn't apply to the stereo one, which needs to work in stereo. What we're going to do now is have a quick listen to what was my favorite application from here, which is this stereo enhancer.
And you just take my world away and leave me with nothing but a sorry look on my face. And I try to fight for the time ahead. It was wasted and faded with every passing day. And you don't believe me when it tears me to pieces.
Now it's weighting a little bit over to the left there, but I do have quite a lot going on in the left with the harp and things. So it's struggling a little bit with that. If we reduce the width, however, it should still give a bit of sort of dynamic going on to it, but shouldn't be quite as bad as that just was.
And you just take my world away and leave me but. And leave me with nothing but a sorry look on my face.
All right, so it was pulling the bass too far over because I had pushed this up too much on the lower frequency.
And you just take my world away and leave me with nothing but a sorry look on my face. And I try to fight for the time ahead. And you just take my world away and
All right, that's got a lot of little bits going on that I quite like. Just balanced it out there as a rough idea. Either that or my ears are getting overly tired. Let's just grab Lurssen up as well. And we'll just really quickly go over what Lurssen's got in comparison. So, slightly different system. Lurssen's going on an input, like output type thing, whereas the push, I've done a separate video just on the push function in Lurssen if you want to look that up. Basically, it pushes up all of the EQ parameters, but it also keeps a dip at 3K. So even though the EQ here at 3K is pushing up, it basically grabs in the de-esser a lot harder and takes all the 3K back down as well. So it pushes up around it, similar to what you do with a Pultec, where you can push it up in one frequency and then cut it at the same frequency to create like a heart-shaped dip. That's effectively what the push function does there. Now, Lurssen, when you choose a style, chooses an EQ profile. Now, like I was explaining before, if you've used frequency analyzers or you've worked to a pink noise profile or you've used tonal balance from Isotope, like this is the Still Dre tonal balance of the main instrumental of the track. It's something I work to quite a lot because I know the balance is bang on, and if I'm somewhere in these areas, my mix is going to sound pretty well balanced. Obviously, you still need to listen to it and get it in context, but I know that that's a good reference point for a balanced track, no matter what room situation I'm working in and things like that. This applies that kind of balance to a track. So think of it this way, it's going to try and achieve that sort of flow using EQ regardless of the sound that's coming into it. Hopefully that makes sense. And it's a similar thing to what Color's doing on Boost, but in terms of Lurssen, you can change it. There's no way to view it, unfortunately. If we choose hip hop or EDM, tell you what, we'll do EDM and brighter. No, we do EDM and warmer because on Boost we chose the valve warmth. So similar kind of naming thing going on. And you saw there a couple of EQ parameters changed, and we will have a different plugin order in here. This is where Lurssen's a bit of a letdown for me because we've got the tube equalizer and the solid state equalizer, and we can't actually do anything with them. We can't edit them. We can't choose the frequencies. It's just based on the 5 knobs down here. I don't remember exactly the order, but it's something like the lower frequency is the tube equalizer and the higher frequencies are the solid state. We can affect the de-esser, but we can't choose where it's de-essing, just the threshold. And we've got some adjustments for the SSL compressor, solid state compressor, but just the threshold and makeup gain. Everything else is done via this sort of input drive and how hard you want to push it in. And the reason I dial it back by 6 dB is it pushes so hard into the profiles that it tends to massively change a mix. So you have to set it up a little bit differently, and you've not got the same integration or flexibility that you have in Boost Pro. However, it's a lot more drop it on, fix it, set it and forget it kind of plugin. So let's have a little listen to what that's doing now, and we'll just try and get a rough level balance, and we'll just A/B them, and we really hear what's going on in terms of profile difference, compression and whatnot. Unfortunately, no stereo effects in Lurssen, which is a shame. It's great for mono compatibility, but hey, I really like that stereo function in the original Boost and in this version, having the extra tweakability.
And you just take my world away and leave me with nothing but a sorry look on my face. And I try to fight for the time ahead, but the time was wasted. Say it's painful. Do you feel it? Then you just take
Just a note, you might be hearing some pops and crackles in the track. I'm certainly hearing them as I'm going through. Switching between these two rapidly is absolutely hammering my CPU. Look, even though we're on a Kaby Lake i7, it is maxing it out doing this.
And you just take my world away and leave me with nothing but a sorry look on my face. And I try to fight.
I have to say, Lurssen's a lot more, say, transparent. The compression that's working there is quite a bit nicer, but on Boost Pro, I've got the ability to completely tweak it and change it per band, so I can go a lot deeper and spend a lot of time with it. I think there's going to be a lot more of a learning curve with it for someone who's using it rather than Lurssen, which can let you just drop it on. However, the real downside is when you do want to go back and tweak it, or you've learned more about what you want to do, you're really limited in how deep you can go. But as a price point, if you're looking for a set it and forget it plugin, go into Lurssen. If you're looking for a set it and forget it plugin that you want to develop and learn more from in the future, Boost Pro, definitely the way to go here. We are just going to play through the whole track, and I'm going to keep swapping between the two, and hopefully we won't get loads of pops and clicks. You can have a little listen to what we are creating here.
What must I do? What must I say? How can you expect me to be around you every single day? How must I hide? You took everything right out of me, and then you broke my heart. And you don't believe me when it tears me to pieces. Do you feel it too? You don't believe me when I say it is painful.
I love the stereo effect on this.
Feel it at all. I'll never let you go. Don't you hurt me, don't you hurt me no more.
Alright guys, so that is a look into Boost Pro, and we've just done a little side by side with Lurssen there. Hopefully been useful for you. You've got an idea more about what Boost Pro does, and if Lurssen's any good for you, I will see you guys on the next video. Thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe.